Hello and welcome to Grassroots Sports on Benue Television. I am Luis Machuchu. Today on Grassroots Sports we will be looking at scouting. Most of our Nigerian brothers, most of our Nigerian players have made it to Europe, and most are playing in the top flight of the leagues across the world in Asia, Europe, America, and most other parts of the world. Most questions have been popping up. How has this journey been successful for these lads? How do they make it? Where do they make it? The truth and the simple answer to all these questions is scouting. A pop-up on this question also, on this topic also come up. How is scouting done? When is scouting done? And many more. We'll be engaging a true football analyst that will be talking more on scouting. We take a quick break, and when we return, I will introduce him to you. Welcome back from that break. Joining us in the studio to talk about scouting is Coach Mark Imenge Demba, coach of Dream Food Academy, Makurdi. Sir, you're welcome to Benue Television.
Thank you for having me here once again. It's a pleasure.
Coach Mark Imenge is one among the biggest coaches in grassroots football. And when we come to grassroots football discussions, he is not a new face on this. And we'll be talking about scouting, which is one of the areas we have Coach in the studio discussing today. Now, Coach, before we go out to get more views on this, the first question is, what is scouting? Engage our viewer.
Okay, to me, scouting basically is what I call in other terminologies as hunting.
Hunting?
Yeah.
Wow.
A hunter goes to the bush or the forest, get the meat, the animals he wants, sells them out to prospective buyers who are there, still have some to use for himself. So scouting is as good as hunting. In the music industry, they don't use the word scouting. They say it's music hunt, talent hunt, and all of those things. Scouting is another word for hunting, and scouting is the most acceptable word in the sporting industry for hunting.
Okay. Now we have Coach who has just given us a brief one on scouting. We'll be getting more from him in the studio. He's just an expert when it comes to grassroots football. But before we go on, we take a quick video of us being in Lagos with some of the hunters, as Coach has said, some of the hunters who came to scout our players. We take a quick one from that video and we'll return back for the conclusive part from Coach.
Your experience traveling down to Nigeria?
It was. This is the second time I'm here. I was on a scouting assignment July last year, so I know approximately what was expected, but it's always interesting to come and watch football, networking with other people, so I'm enjoying it very much.
Okay. Looking at our day-to-day life, you discover that marketing system of any product has to do with its what? That is the marketing product. So how true is this as compared to football in the play?
Yeah, but of course, football more or less worldwide are extremely important for people, because tell me one country in the world that doesn't love football. You have young players that getting heroes for other persons. somehow football connects people all over the world, and that is. I'm coming from Scandinavia. I'm coming here because I'm loving football, and we are working here to, as I said before, both to network with the people, trying to find good players that we believe can make a difference in Europe, and in part two, that we will probably help that person, his family, his relatives to even a better life, and then. That is the main reason for me. If I can make a difference for some person down here, that makes it worth it.
Okay. Now looking at the general marketing system, we have laid down equities used like advertisement, discount, fair treatment of customers. So is scouting such a booster in football?
Yeah, it is a booster. First of all, yeah, to say that Nigerians players in Europe, they need kind of marketing of Nigeria name. They spread a good name of Nigeria, and yeah, we have a lot of players of Nigerian players in Europe, so they spread a good word about Nigeria country. And yeah, the question about the marketing, can you repeat the question? How?
Okay, the question he answered, I was like looking at the general marketing system. A product is sold high based on its value. So now, do you is also in football? The value of the players.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the football, like in every other businesses, they have marketing systems, they have profit systems, and so on. So football is a business, and Europeans are doing that. And yeah, one of the reasons why we're here, because Nigerian players are very valuable. They counting as a valuable players in the market in Europe, and yes, they all the Asian scouts, club directors, sport directors are coming here with this idea to bring the players and make a good product out of them in the future. This is definitely.
That is just a general overview of what we say. So, what is scouting?
Scouting is a. How long time do I have? But
We have a lot of time to talk about scouting. What is scouting?
we are doing with some friends that are well connected in Nigeria, and as I said, we have our background experience and what we think is necessary for now a Nigerian player to succeed in Europe. So when we are talking about that, it's not only his qualities as a player. We also try, when we find a player that we think that he has the quality as a player, as a football player, but then somehow the man behind the football player is even more important.
Okay, the man behind the football player.
Yeah, because you are a journalist.
Yeah.
But you're also a private person. Yeah. The man behind, when you take off your mask, and it's the same thing with a football player or a football coach. Okay. The social life, and we're trying to get under the skin of that player, because somehow we need to try to understand if this player is ready to come to Europe, leave his family to total different life, that his expectation when he goes there will be much higher. Will he manage to be without his friend, because we are coming to a totally different part of the world. A club that invests money in you, you're going to have expectations, you're going to come maybe to a snowy Scandinavia with minus 20.
Wow.
It is a turnaround, and somehow not all people fix it. I have been playing with many Nigerians. I have been, or it's better to say Africans, and coaching. Somehow some people adapt very good, very fast, and get successful careers, but not everyone.
Okay.
So it is more complex than that.
Okay. Now, a professor once said examination is not the true test of one's knowledge. So do you see scouting program as the true test players?
What do you mean? I see
The scouting, scouting
Yeah.
usually has a short time frame. So can you just get the very best of us in one day?
we can check the players. We can see which players are the best in the one day. I would say about the scouting that maybe people are thinking the scouting is a fast process, but the scouting is really a long process. So usually from the day that somebody see the player and bring him in Europe, it took time. It took really time. It's not that easy to documentation to find the team, to make agreements with the club. So I would say the scouting is quite a difficult procedure. It takes a lot of persons to be interested. It takes a lot of persons to do their work. So it's interesting work, but it's quite difficult and long work. I would say it takes at least half year to take a player to find a player and bring them to the Europe. So it's quite difficult and long process.
Looking at other foreign investors in football in Nigeria, they have gone for more academy kind of setup. Why do you choose scouting? Why do you prefer scouting to academic setup?
You mean why we visit the academies?
Yeah. Why you chose scouting instead of establishing academies here?
But as I say, my profession, I am a football coach. I've been a football coach for many years. So when I go down here, as I said, I am both looking to network, to be connected with the persons down here. I can be here as a represent for some clubs that would like me to find attractive young Nigerian player with the potential to develop. But I can also go here as a coach in a team, and I'm looking for example a central defender, and then I have some different criteria that I'm looking for. And if I can find that on a player here with a young age, with the possibility to develop, and maybe even a possibility so the club, the academy down here, the player, and the club that brought him to Europe can earn money on it.
Yes. Okay, as compared to other scouting programs, your scouting program remains a unique one, and applause we give you for that. Now, what happens to the man behind the players, the coaches? Are they also scouted along the players? Do you tend to pick good coaches to Europe as well?
Yeah, but honestly, that's why we have this coaching program.
Okay.
We have for 2 days have this where we are working with approximately 35 coaches. Taras was speaking about really important topics regarding regarding topics what clubs are looking for in the qualities of the players and agent topics. We have been speaking about tactics, periodization, how the coach shall train, and I have been speaking about system of play, different way of playing. So we have had 4 hours lecture with these 35 coaches.
Wow.
Because we want, if we can impact them to make them even more curious, and if we can make them a little bit better, then the play is going to become better because the coaches are better. So we are putting one stone here, we are putting the second, and hopefully we can help somehow to educate both coaches and players.
Okay, just a round off before we call it a day. Do you have anything to say to the Nigerians and the team that have organized this scouting program? Do you have anything to say to them before we call it a day?
First of all, it's really a big pleasure for me to be here. I am seeing so many happy faces there. I see so big passion in the football field. The conversation with Glenn yesterday, the level of the games what we see here is really good. We are comparing with the same age level in the Europe, so these players are probably even better. They're more competitive. So I believe you guys are doing a good job here. I believe that you are passionate on it. So I hope you will continue to do the good job and will grow up. Yeah, as Glenn said, we also try to make some programs for you to teach something. even better, but you're on the good way. Okay.
It's indeed nice having you both in the studio with us here. Talk about scouting program. Hope to see you more often. We have Glenn in the studio and Teddy. It was indeed nice having you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back from there where we are to the interview section, and you've heard a lot. Now we have a coach in the house to complement it. Now, coach, back to the scouting. How has scouting been beneficial to grassroots development in Nigeria and probably your state?
Yeah, I remember those days when we used to play. I remember one particular incident. I wanted to go and play. I wanted to play for a club in Numa. That's in Yola, the then Gongola state.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to travel on a lorry to that state. I had to go and eat some food. You understand? That was not pleasant to my system, and I was purging. Now, the process of traveling and all of those things were hard. But at the end of the day, which team did I want to go and play? A local team that is not even recognized.
Wow.
But these days, as you know, as a result of this influx of scouts from Europe here, it makes the journey easy for us. Just yesterday, we have a scout in Makurdi here. It don't used to be like that before. We have to go to Abuja. You understand?
Yes.
We have to go to Lagos, just like you guys were in Lagos last week. But these days, you know, the scouts are even coming to Makurdi. To me, it's a huge. It has a positive, and not just it has a positive, but it's making football even more easier.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
It's exporting our talent more now than before. Now, instead of you begin to look for a team in Europe to go and play like we do those days, sending email to agents so that they can help us get this thing, the scouts are there. Are you getting me?
Yes.
When they come, it's straight to the grassroots players. The grassroots player in Makurdi needs to leave his house, spend 200 naira or 100 naira. He's at BSU or he's at Apeaku Stadium. He's at Makati Stadium where these things are happening. And once they pick you, once you're the antelope they are looking for, once they're the lions they are looking for, because they are hunters.
Yes.
They came with a specific target in their minds. Okay, I'm looking for a hunter for Chelsea. I'm looking for an antelope for Arsenal. I am looking for an elephant for Man U. Are you getting me?
Yes.
So they come with all of those. Scouts don't just go out scouting, you know, without an aim. They have an aim. A hunter will say, okay, maybe antelope says better in this market that is going to come in the next few days. So as he's going for hunting, he's waiting for that one. So clubs in Europe is looking up to getting an antelope. So clubs in Europe too, these scouts, they don't just come to Africa because there are talents in Africa. They come to Africa with a specific aim. Now we're looking for strikers between the ages of 13, between the ages of 17 and 19. Because maybe FC Zurich in Switzerland is looking for players they can groom, and the next 2 years they should be able to integrate into their team.
Okay.
Yeah. So
now, still on the scouting, like we're not going out of the contest.
Yeah.
Now, do we have products that have been scouted from grassroots in your state? That in Nigeria generally, do we have products that have been scouted?
okay, let's start at home.
Okay, at home.
And
Charity
let's start
begins at home.
You understand?
Okay.
And let's start with my team. I have been to scouting programs in Abuja, where about 2 or 3 of my players have been scouted and taken abroad.
Okay.
But the ones that are currently playing in Europe now, we are scouted right here in my training pitch at BSU.
Wow.
Where we had that scouting program yesterday. Early last year, a scout came all the way from Italy with another Nigerian scout, and that boy was scouted. Gabriel Obekpa is playing for IMT in the Serbian First Division.
Wow.
You understand? He graduated from the youth system. He's now in the main team. He's a product of a scouting program right here in Makurdi. Recently, Lawrence Ogen.
Yes.
Lawrence Ogen was scouted by another academy that was a little bit higher than my own, owned by our brother Moses Simon.
Moses Simon.
They came to town here, conducted the scouting program in the 3 geographical zones in the state. But when they got to Makurdi, they saw the talent that was in that boy, Shimabe Ogen Lawrence.
Okay.
He played for less than 10 minutes. Are you getting me?
Yes.
He was pulled out. The following day, he traveled to Kaduna. In less than 4 months, he was out of the country.
Wow.
And today, he's a forerunner, a first-team player in his club in Latvia.
A question that has just popped my mind. When you're talking of scouting, you channeling it to traveling abroad. Do we have Nigerian scouts, Nigerian Premier League teams? Do they also have scouts that go out to scout players for them?
I will not speak for them.
Wow.
But it's a laid down rule that they should have scouts. It's a constitutional law.
Okay.
For you to play Premier football, Premier League football, professional football, each team must have their own team of scouts. Match assessors are there, scouts are there. What does these scouts do? Is to go out there, hunt for players. You understand?
Yes.
And present it to the technical crew of this team, maybe technical director or whatever. Technical director looks at them. If there are videos, you look at videos. If there are other evidences, you look at them. You sit down, you make the analysis, and you say, okay, this one can fit into our system. So they bring in him. Scouts bring in their reports. And let me tell you something about scouting before maybe time will elapse and I will not know. Majority of the players you're hearing the Super Eagles today, majority of the Nigerian boys you're seeing playing Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League today, scoring goals you're seeing, are products of a scouting program that was conducted in Nigeria 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. They went there, developed themselves, and now they're beneficial to us. Most of them, go and check the records, you will see Boniface is a glaring example because I was there when Boniface was scouted.
Wow. Victor Boniface that
you're hearing today, I was there.
Okay.
He came with Ikon Allah. Ikon Allah is my friend, he's in Kaduna. He's a big boy now because he's the one managing, he's the one that even Eguke came from his club also. Are you getting me? Recently he brought some scouts, I think about 6 or 4 of them in Abuja. They had a very successful scouting program also. They went around the northern states having affiliations with them so they can be bringing the scouting programs too. So I'm urging our Benin people also that when they see these things happening like that, they too should cue into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, still on the context of scouting, you said they are scouted, and most of the players we have in Super Eagles are also scouted. Now we have a whole lot of talents in Benue. We have somebody, Daniel Daga, who is playing.
Good example. Let me cut it short.
Okay.
Daniel Daga was scouted by another academy here in Nigeria from Uyo.
Oh.
They sent their coach, the man that has FC1 Rocket. I've forgotten that his name. You know him very well.
Essien.
Essien sent his coach that I've heard that there are a lot of talents in Benue. Go to Benue and look at them.
Okay.
So he came with everything. Scouted, he took like 6 of them. I think I know them. I don't know their name, but I know all the boys he picked at that period.
Yes.
You understand? Took them to Uyo. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Worked on them. The rest came back, but Daga remained. So Daga is a product of a first grade scouting program. You understand?
Well,
first grade because it was another academy again, just like I told you, the collaboration that I did with Moses Simon Ben Academy in Kaduna. The same arrangement Bombers did
with FC1 Rocket.
FC1 Rocket. No, not FC1 Rocket, with Carabana Academy.
Okay, from there before he went to FC1 Rocket.
So it was
and
a
now
graduate
he's
project.
in Enyimba.
It's not about the Imba. It's just borrowing time in the Imba.
Okay.
Now he's Europe bound.
Europe bound.
You know.
Well, it's indeed nice having coach here talk about scouting. We take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be doing more on scouting. welcome back from that break. We have just had a wonderful scouting done here in the studio, because the viewer has been told of scouting and players who are going to be scouting here as well. Now, back to the organization of scouting, we discovered that private individuals bringing these people in to come scout is usually very, very much tedious and a very tasking task for them. Notwithstanding the fact, those who were to do from other states like Lagos, Abuja are doing it. Now we leave it to Coach. You tell us a little tip on what you want and how best you think, if the Benue State government or where to do individuals come here, this scouting can be projected to before we call it a day.
All right, you see, everything in life has to do with partnership. No matter what you want to do, partnership is involved in it.
Okay.
Now, these scouts are all over the world, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. They are everywhere with their needs, with their demands. So it's just left for us, not just the government alone. An individual can invest, maybe, okay, let me put in 10 million naira to take care of their tickets and to take care of their logistics when they are here, their accommodation and everything. Bring in like 3, 4, 5 scouts. At the end of the day, if we trust what, like me, I trust what we have in Benue, we comb the nooks and crannies of Benue and bring all the talents together for these scouts to see. I'm telling you, and I'm assuring you, and I'm telling you what I know, that if you do that in Benue, in Makurdi here, in Boko, in Otukpo, in Kasnala, anywhere, there's no way that you will invest 10 million naira and go home with 100 million after some time.
Wow.
You will invest and you will reap huge at the end of the day. So I call on well-meaning individuals. It's not the government thing alone. Individuals can do it. We have money.
Okay. So it was indeed nice having you here talk about scouting, enlightening us, and today you've told us that scouts are what? Hunters,
yes,
and are coming to hunt. We are going to be presenting these animals. We are going to be chasing them out so that the hunters can hunt them on Benue Television as well. I am Louise Machuchu. Doing justice to scouting was Coach Mark Imenge Temba, coach of Dream Football Academy, Makurdi.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Okay.
Beshiro.